Welcome to Echoes of My Imagination. My name is Tracy Lee. Sit back, relax, let me tell you a story. Today's story is called The Mirror of Stone. Before there was speech, there was stillness, and before stillness, there was watching. This soul was carved into mountain before it was born into body. Let's get into it. They called him Ashen, named for the pale tone of his skin and the mineral light that shimmered from his eyes. He was born inside a monastic temple built directly into the cliffside. No midwives, only silence, stone, and snow. His mother, a silent acolyte named Maia, carried him for 9 months in solitude and fasting, believing him to be the reincarnation of a lost elder. The moment he emerged, lightning struck the cliff above the birthing cavern, an omen not of destruction, but of deep awakening. Ashen was not taught language. He was not raised in the way others are. He was embedded. The Order of Echoes believed in nonverbal transmission. Infants were raised to read movement, breath, tension, stillness. He was given no toys, no songs, no idle comforts. Instead, he learned by placing his hands in meditation bowls of water to feel the ripple of other initiates' breath. He observed meals eaten in total silence, where meaning was shared through nods, hand positions, and body posture alone. Ashen learned to decipher the tiniest shift, a foot curling, a jaw tightening, a shoulder dropping. He understood emotion before he understood thought. His earliest memories were of cold stone, incense trails, and warm glances passed like torches from one quiet soul to the next. By adolescence, Ashen had become something more than a boy, not yet monk, but already a vessel. He had not spoken a word in 14 years. Instead, he spent his days in the hall of reflection. It was a vast granite room lined with water mirrors, shallow pools carved into the floor, polished to obsidian stillness. Every initiate sat alone in one. The challenge: see yourself without becoming yourself. Ashen passed the trial in 3 days. Most took years. When the elders asked how, he wrote on parchment, "I did not look for me. I looked for what was still looking." What he saw in that mirror was not his face, but a field of still presence behind it, an awareness untouched by fear or form. In his young adulthood, Ashen became the mirror keeper. He tended to the sacred mirrors of the temple, not just the physical ones, but the people themselves. He had the gift of non-reflective presence. He did not distort what he witnessed. He moved with stillness so profound that grief unraveled in his presence. Villagers from miles around came to sit in silence with him. Some left weeping, others left with their posture changed, not from words, but from being seen. He had become a living mirror. One girl, only 7, clutched a knot of rage from losing her mother. Ashen held her hand and let the silence breathe. Her tears dissolved without pressure. Her first words after were, "I remember now." But then came the season of fire. A chain of volcanic eruptions buried several villages. Refugees came screaming to the cliffs. Ashen opened the temple. He broke centuries of isolation protocol. He housed the dying. He fed the broken. He listened to children scream in their sleep. He walked the halls day and night, absorbing grief in his silence. The mirrors dimmed. Some cracked under the weight of unspoken sorrow. For the first time, the mirrors were shattered, not by force, but by the grief they reflected. And Ashen began to change. He still did not speak, but his eyes burned. They shimmered with magma beneath the stillness. Late one night, during a snowstorm, he descended from the temple. He traveled down into the buried villages, walked barefoot across the heat-stained ash. He found the epicenter of the last blast. He knelt in the blackened soil, eyes open to the sky. He stood there for 6 days, still, bare-chested, motionless. During that time, crows gathered around him. Not one moved, not one cawed. On the 6th day, the sky cleared. He spoke. "I am here to hold what remains." The sky cracked. The earth sighed. And for the first time in memory, the air grew calm. The fires beneath the soil went quiet. He returned to the temple changed. He wore a cloak made of burned prayer flags. He carried no tools. But when he entered the hall of reflection, all the shattered mirrors reformed. No one saw them move, but by morning they were whole, and in their centers glowed faint spirals of light. People began calling him the stone mirror, not because he reflected nothing, but because he reflected only what was eternal. The air around him became so still that candles refused to flicker. Ashen aged. He chose a successor, a child named Yema, who laughed with her eyes and cried without shame. He placed her hand on a mirror and said, "You must never fix, only witness." These were the last words he ever said. He took her to the high garden above the temple where the cliffs meet the sun. He handed her a single stone, the first one he had ever seen his reflection in. He returned to the cliff's edge, sat in lotus posture, facing the sun, and turned to stone. They say his body is still there, but no birds land on him, no vines grow across him. He is not eroded, he is not claimed. He simply watches. And in the morning light, if you kneel just right before him, you can see your soul looking back. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining me for Echoes of My Imagination. My name is Tracy Lee. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and follow. And I'll catch you next time.